Welcome back to another Pristine Productions. Here I am a host, a mix engineer extraordinaire, graphic designer, videographer, and producer, Andrew Rayburn. And we're going to be diving into Studio One, mixing in Studio One 4.6, setting up the template. So I want to say thank you to all the fans. Thank you for making this the video I did with 4.6, the first one with the 4.6 version, almost reaching 1,000 views. So fans are requesting, especially for the new guys or the new girls out there, and the new girls out there, female mix engineers, how to set up Studio One for the first time, so you can know what you're getting into. So let's jump right into it. So here I have Studio One 4.6, and you can also design your little artwork here in the middle. You can just click on this button here. You can select your picture, so you can have your own customized stuff there. You have news feed and those stuff. So this is generally the picture, the screen you're going to see when you launch Studio One 4.6 for the first time. So let's get into it. So we have file view, Studio One help. So we have create new song, and this is where you go when you're going to produce music. You want to make tracks, drums, and that stuff. You're going to create new sound. Now, Studio One has a built-in mastering suite, and this is where you create new projects. So mastering projects is under create new project. Creating new song is under creating new song. Here you have it as well. You have start a page, you have song, and you have project. So I can bring up my different songs that I'm making, and you have demos and tutorials as well. So here's the list of the recent production I did. It's quite a few, and in this tab here is going to show all your songs and all your mastering projects here. So let's jump right into it. So I'm going to go and create a new songs for the first time. I'm going to click on that, and here you're going to see I have already have some templates here. So when we're talking about setting up template, the real professional way that works every time. So I have styles, which these are preset templates: band, recording, house, techno, instrument, mix, arrange, multi-track, piano, ballad. These are different presets, singer-songwriter, different presets to start off your mixing template, but you can customize your own. Here you have interfaces if you're using Audio Box and those stuff, Studio Live. And you have user, which I create my own. So I have my mix and I have producer. But we're going to start off empty, right? So we can give this song title here. Remember, we're creating a template. So we're going to use a song as a template first. And I'm going to show how we can turn it into a template setting. So let's call this, let's say startup. And I can choose where I want to save it. Let's go on picture. Let's gonna save it in pictures startup. Here you can adjust sample rate. We have 44 to about 96 kilohertz, and the interface I'm using goes up to 48. So we're gonna keep it at 44.1. The resolution 24-bit. If you use 32-bit, it might go a little bit more heavy on the CPU, but 24 bits is pretty standard, professional. Time base, bars, beats. We can set the tempo here, the time signature of the metronome, and key signature as well. You can choose what key the song is going to be in. And also stretch audio files to song tempo, meaning if I load up a track or a stem, Studio One can actually adjust and stretch the audio files along with the tempo change. So just like if you're using virtual instrument, obviously you can change the tempo, but it also Studio One also does do that with audio files. So normally I'll leave that stretch in case I have a session and I bounce everything down to waves. I leave this on so I can adjust the speed if I want. And I'm gonna go ahead and click OK. And here's a little thing that says sample rate. It doesn't match your audio device, blah, 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 and that stuff. So I'm gonna worry about that. Yeah, so I'm using a different interface as well, so don't pay no mind. Okay, so here we are in Studio One. Let's talk about um, what we're looking at here. So at the top row here, we have the arrow tool, similar to Pro Tools. And this is where you can pick your split tool, you can pick eraser tool, you can also use the paint tool you want to draw an automation. Mute tool, you have the audio bend. Most of the time, guys and girls, you will always, like 90% of the time, you're going to be using this right here. As long as all these three icons are selecting the range, you can pretty much do everything. You can edit and all that stuff. So, and I'm going to show you that in a minute here. Here we have the quantize, input quantize. So when I turn this on, whatever I record in the instruments is going to be automatically time corrected. And if I wanted to change the quantize note, I can click the button Q here. I can select the quantize note and I can hit apply. Let's say I had an audio track here, hit apply, and Studio One's going to do it, or I can just hit the letter Q. Here we have the snap, which when I move stuff around, it's going to snap to the bar and beats. So that's pretty much most of what you need to know to get things starting. So, and I also have the start song project. So if I click on project here, let's say I wanted to master a song. I can click OK here, and Studio One's going to take me to the mastering page. We're going to get into this another time, but I'm just showing you. I can also go back to the song and make adjustment to it, then bounce it back to the project. So you'll have all these built-in features, which is pretty awesome. Up here is the inspector, which is going to show your tracks. We have track lists. We have options. We can go into our options, colorize track, blah blah blah, all these stuff here. We have show automation. If I do an automation here, I can create markers. I can create markers here. Like if I wanted to recall certain parts, we can do that. Like mark chorus here, verse, and that stuff. Here we have the arranger track, which you can set up a different arrangement in one window and go back to the original. Just research that, and if you want, I can do that as well. Down the road, we have open tempo track, so I can make changes of the tempo. So as you can see, Studio One 4 is very basic and very powerful, very simple and easy to use. Down here, we have our start and stop. We can play or play there, and we have similar controls. I can set the key of the song I'm in. I can change the tempo right here. Let's click and drag up and down, and I can turn on a metronome just by hitting C key. Here we have the plugin manager. I can click on this and bring this up, and Studio One is going to update any new plugin that I install, and hit update plugins, and Studio One is going to fly through all this list and pick up the one that I just installed and add it to the already installed plugins, so you don't have to breeze through everything all over again. So, and over here is your navigation panel. You can go on instruments, and I can choose what instrument I want. I can select my M1, drag it over here, and it's gonna load up. So for example, if I take my M1 over the side, and it's gonna load in a few. There it is, and you're ready to create music. Studio One already loads up a track. I can hit the little icon here, inspector, and I can see a little bit more clearer the information here of the track. So which is pretty cool. So also effects tab, I go in here, it'll show all my effects. For example, let's say I wanted um, the bark of a dog plugin directly on this M Audio M1 keyboard. I can drag and drop it right here. It's going to load up on a track. There it is, bark of a dog. Right, get some Rottweiler in your track. You know what I'm saying? And we have a loops tab, but I don't currently have any loops in there. So in the folder here, you can go browse by flat, which will just give it a name. Folder, which is go by the brand, like Dynamics Distortion, or you can go on vendor, which will include the name of the company, like Brainworks and that stuff. So that's pretty cool. Same thing with instruments, right? So that's how you get to do this stuff here. So let me go ahead. So we already talked about that, right? So now let's say you're starting Studio One for the first time. We have the file button here, in which you can save the song. I mean, save the project. I go to save as. You can save the project. And this is what we're going to use, save as a template. Remember, we're creating a template, not a song. Yes, we're creating like a song setting, but we're not recording anything. We're going to create a template. So I'm going to get rid of this instrument track here. And if we go on song, we can export the mix down, export the stems, and also we can export video if we're dealing video. Yes, Studio One 4 export videos, just like Pro Tools. So, and now we have event, we have auto, which can do some editing. We can also do it with a right click, but I'm getting to that. So setting up Studio One. So first of all, I want to make sure our interface, our interface is set up right. So I'm going to go down to options, and here Studio One is going to bring up this menu here. We have general, which says when Studio One starts, do you want it to look for new song, check for updates, etc. We have appearance. We can change the background of the look. Maybe we want Studio One a little bit more on the bright side, a little bit more contrast, a little bit more saturation. We can choose the color, you know, increase saturate. We can make it more green, you know. It's pretty nice. Keyboard shortcuts, which tell you what you're doing. You can set your own. We have a network, like allow remote control apps to discover this DAW. So I can mix also from my DAW on Studio One. I have a tablet here. I haven't tried it as yet. And then we have locations, which this is the default location where Studio One is going to save all its projects. So it's going to be document Studio One. You go under songs. We have file types, which Studio One deals with. AAC as well. Sound set. You don't have to worry about file types, sound set, user data. Automatically, it's going to reassign itself to document Studio One, which is where I'm currently using. If I wanted to, I can change it to music folder, but everything is in documents, right? So pretty simple. VST tab is where you're gonna tell Studio One. I have a bunch of most of the time I install all my VSTs in the same folder or subfolders. So Studio One. So if I install something new, it's gonna be in VST folder on drive C. So Studio One is gonna detect that, add it to the already installed groups of instruments, and I don't have to be looking around with how I'm not seeing my UAD plugins. I know I install it, you know, and that stuff. So you can just go and add here, and it's going to add the folder, you know. And here we have audio setup here. This is where I choose my interface. I'm currently using the Voice Media Virtual to do this tutorial. But normally I'm using the Fast Track audio interface, so I can pick that there. You can bring up the control panel for that particular interface as well. Also, the processing, you can, if you have a quad processor or double, leave it on 64-bit, which I believe all Windows 10 machines now is doing 64-bit. So that's what you can do there. You can set the dropout protection here. This is like a guard for when the CPU gets too low. So the one's gonna try and rebalance power. If I go down here to song setup, here I can do some more information. I can pick a sample rate of song, the bit, a frame rate. This is like for video. I can go on the metadata, and also check this out, guys. Studio One's gonna take this picture and embed that to my MP3 file, and I can name it. I can put the title, artist, producer, year, and it's going to be encoded in an MP3. So when iTunes or Spotify picks it up, all the information is going to be shown. And here we have some more settings here for the interface. I can set up the bus where I want to record vocals and outputs. Pretty simple, right, guys? So since we already talked about that, all that, let's talk about template. Now we have the mix button here, which is gonna bring up a Studio One mixer board, and we can resize this by clicking this little arrow right here, and then I'm gonna go right over here, maximize. So we have this nice big look. Already we have a main track out here. So I'm going to X. So when I hit mix, it's going to bring up that big window. You can customize the mixer board to have halfway view in here. So so what I'm going to do, since we already have a dedicated main output track, we don't have to create a master fader like Pro Tools. I'm going to hit the letter T, and I'm going to add some buses here, right? So I'm gonna go on, let's see, audio folder. Let's do it from the mixer board here. So I'm gonna go to mixer board, right click, here we have add bus, add effects, add VCA. Or we can go straight to the audio setup from here, quite easy. So I'm going to go to add bus, and I'm going to show you why. I'm going to add, let's see, I have 2 already. Okay. Okay, let's go add tracks. I think there is a way to add more than one, but let's keep doing it. So I'm gonna add bus 1, 2, 3. So I'm gonna rename bus 1. This is gonna be called music. I'm gonna rename bus 2 by double clicking. I'm gonna call this drums. I'm gonna call this drums, right? And I'm gonna go on the third one and call this vocals. So all vocals in a track will be coming out of the vocal sub. All drums will be coming right over the drums, and all music will be coming out of music. And if I just click here, I can change the color like Pro Tools. Pretty cool. Let's see if I can also, okay, so that's that. And I'm gonna add some more bus here. I'm gonna add a mix bus. Call this mix bus. This is how the pros do it, guys. So if I hold shift, All these three subgroups is going to be coming out of the mix bus, and then the mix bus is coming in, is will be coming out of the main. I'm going to go ahead and add some more bus here. So I'm going to add one, I'm going to add two. Let's see, we need, let's add about four more. This one I'm going to call a vocal aux. This one is going to be called vocal comp. This one is going to be called drum sub. This one is going to be called drum comp. And I'm going to move these three here. I'm going to move the mix bus as well. Let's give this a color here. Let's go down to the appearance real quick, and let's boost maybe the luminance here. I do apologize for the sound, guys, but I can't be answering my phone right now. I'm doing a tutorial, so let me go ahead and turn off this thing here. I do apologize, guys. Bear with me. Okay. Let me turn off. Okay. Okay, so yeah, we're back. Okay, so here's the mix bus, and the reason why I have a drum sub and drum comp is all the drums is going to be coming out of the drum sub, and out of the drum sub it's going to be coming, the drum sub is going to be coming out of the drums. So, and the drum comp is going to be coming out of the drums as well, because sometimes you gotta parallel compress the entire drum kit and then have the whole parallel compressed drums coming out of this one track. The vocal auxiliary is going to be coming out of vocals. The vocal comp is going to be coming out of the vocal auxiliary, and which is coming out of vocals, you know. And then I will add three more, and this formula works every time. Most engineers use it. One for the reverb, another for, let's say, delay. Sometimes you might want to have three more, long, short. Another one for effects. Now all these will be coming directly out of the mix bus here. Make sense? And so I'm going to drag the mix bus over here. So sometimes I'll go in a little bit more detail and add like a kick compression, parallel compression bus. It depends. But this is your main setup, right? And these are buses. Notice there's nothing here on Studio One unless I add some audio tracks. I'm really showing you in a moment how it's actually set up in the session. So picture this. You have your lead vocal. The audio tracks going to be coming out of vocal auxiliary. I'm going to be sending a copy of the lead vocal through the vocal compression track here, parallel compression, so it amps up the lead, and that amped up version is going to be coming out of vocal auxiliary, and that combined amped up version of the auxiliary is coming out of the vocals. Same thing if you have, let's say, harmony tracks, like say 8 harmony tracks. I would create one more bus and call it harmony aux. Send all the harmonies through that, and you can control all of them with one bus. And it goes on and on if you have extra stuff. All drums, like the kick drum, I would send that in the drum sub and EQ it and stuff. And if I feel like the entire, let's say the kick, drum, and snare, everything that is called drums coming out of drum sub, if I feel like the entire kit needs extra lift, then I will parallel compress that and send that signal through the drum comp. And then this combined signal will be coming out of the drums. And you can see this simple template formula. You will always be in control with your entire music with 3 faders: music, drums, vocals, which includes all ad-libs, all harmony, everything. If it's a big project, let's say you're recording Rihanna and let's say Beyonce, all of Beyonce's lead harmony vocal, I will probably bust that to another group, maybe call it Beyonce's vocals, and then out of that I would send it to vocals. Rihanna, I'll do the same thing, Rihanna's vocals, which includes her harmonies, whatever. So you can control all 3 with these faders. And also, if I wanted to control these faders, I can either right click 3 of them and go group selected track, or add VCA, and VCA is going to control the volume of all 3. So we can do some more processing here. Now VCA you cannot add no effects, as you can see, but it will control the volume of these tracks. So you can do that if you want. If you want to detach, you can go right down here, go on none, and the VCA has no more control. So and then you can also set up on your mix bus. Let's say normally I would have something like the Bax EQ master on the mix chain already good to go. So I have my template set, and this is a starter upper. If project gets big, I might need to add more stuff and save it as a different template, but generally you want to start off with this. And I'm ready to import some stems from some artists or producers, and I simply go here, save as template, not a song here, and I can give it a type of startup, and I can put a little icon there. And when I hit OK, remember that screen that we were on right here? If I go on new on the user tab, you'll see the template startup appears. So that's what I want to show you. That's what I wanted to show you guys, how to set up Studio One. Now let's bring in a session here. I'm gonna bring in. Let's bring in. Let's see. Let's bring in one of my rhythms here. I'm gonna load it up. Let's give it a minute here. And I'm going to show you similarly how this template works in all my sessions, and you can build upon it, so you can always tweak stuff. Some people would use like, I don't know, like 3, 4, 5 different delay buses and those stuff. Some send multiple delays at an artist lead and all that stuff. It depends on the session, but this is your basic way of setting up your session file, so it gives you control over your session, and it also helps you to have proper gain staging so you don't have your session or your mix too hot and you can mess it up and mess up the artist's reputation. There's a reason why these artists select you, put their music in your hands, because they know you deal with stuff on a professional level, right? So this is the basic practice. We want to keep everything nice for the artists, and you're gonna be getting a lot of money, a lot of their money at least. Yeah. So I'm waiting for this session to load up here, and I'm going to show you how it looks. Now, without these proper setup here, like the buses and all these stuff, it'll be hard to control. So here's my rhythm. You might see. Okay, let me show you. There is the vocals. There is the drums. There is the music. I have the effects, reverb, delay. I have the drum sub. I have the vocal auxiliary. I have some couple more here. Kick, auxiliary, and kick axe. And then we have the audio tracks here that make up the rhythm. So I can play this session here. And I do apologize. I'm eating a lot of CPU. But all drums is coming out of drum sub and then coming out. So if I wanted, I can, let me turn off some of these plugins here. If I want it, I can solo the drums. And all the drums will be playing. If I want all the music, solo music. So having this control, guys, will help you a lot on your songs. So, and I have the sends and everything. So I just want to leave that with you guys. This is Studio One 4.6. Remember to subscribe to my page if you haven't already, and you could be getting some more giveaways as well. I'm going to be bringing out more contests. So I'm happy to say the first one I did with this new version 4.6 is at currently 838. Look me up and watch my videos and buy my rhythms support. If you want me to mix your stuff for you, I can do it at reasonable prices, so hit me up on that as well. And I'm going to be visiting soon in, once everything works out, California. So look out, guys. The producer is coming. So I'll catch you on the next one.